guys, welcome back to another episode of Echale Ganas Talks, a podcast where real life meets real talks. I am Erika, your host, and today, guys, we are here with Amy. She's gonna share her story with you guys. She's faced some pretty big challenges in her life, and I think that let me just tell you that you wanting to come over on here and share your story is so brave, because it's not easy to do, and I always say this because it really isn't. But I feel like this is going to bring some healing to you. I feel like through this, that's the reason that we want to do this, is to share your story, to bring healing to her, and to just hopefully encourage somebody, or even have somebody be able to relate to you. So like I said, she's faced some pretty big challenges, and going from being diagnosed with cancer, having cancer as a child, to then becoming a teen mom. And I can only imagine that those, just even having the cancer in your life, like that's already, I mean, I don't even have the words, like something so hard to go through, but then having to deal with growing up so early and being a teen mom, and to that I can relate, because, I was there too. So just take me back to your childhood. This is Amy. Did you want to introduce yourself? Sure. I kind of just skipped that. But yeah, just take me back to your childhood before you were diagnosed. Like what were you like as a kid?
Super happy, super bubbly. I was wanting to be friends with everybody. And I was just really close with my family. We're 5 siblings, so there was always something going on.
Oh yeah. I don't know how that's like.
So it was just, I was enjoying life. I was being a kid. Everything was great. I had like little things here and there that also shaped my life, but not as much, I feel, as like what came later.
Okay.
But yeah, I was very like happy. I guess like that's like the best way I can describe it. To me, I was like, I had a great childhood. Like I think back on it, I'm like, oh, I loved my childhood up until that age. I was like, I am and was a big daddy's girl, so yeah, I was like always with my dad, going everywhere with him. So everything was great up until then.
So what age did you get diagnosed?
9.
9 years old. Okay, so you're already, my daughter's 8, so I could only imagine, you're already at an age where you remember everything, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So take me back to finding out, like, how was that? How did they tell you? Like,
well, it was like I had a lot of flu-like symptoms, if you want to say. I had had a fever for like a week, and then a cough and stuff like that. But what kind of like drew my mom to be like, there's something really wrong here, was the fact that I had a lot of random bruises in my legs and my body. I had like these little red dots on my legs, and a lot of horrible back pains and body aches. So I still remember the month. It was August of 2008, and my parents had gone on a trip. And when they came back, they had promised me and my brother to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Because every little kid's dream, like go to Chuck E. Cheese. And we went to Chuck E. Cheese after their trip, and that was kind of like the trigger, like the match that lit the fire. I like to say. We were there, and I just got worse and more sick, and that was the weekend. So my mom said, like, Monday, I need to take her to the doctor. We went to the doctor. Doctor was like, oh, she's maybe a little anemic. But she should be fine. But my mom's instinct was like, no, something is wrong.
Yeah.
So she asked for blood work, and I think like, that afternoon we went in for the blood work, and I still remember just them like doing blood work was so painful.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that afternoon my mom gets a call and she's like, I need you, like, they told my mom, just be really calm and I need you to pack a bag, a small bag, and you need to go to Rady's.
You were there in the room? Do you remember that?
No, but my mom tells me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it just stuck.
Oh, yeah, of
in
course.
my head.
Yeah.
I was in like another room. I was in another room. I was playing. That's what I do remember. But yeah, she was like, you need to pack a little bag with a few nights worth of clothes. And I just remember we got in the car and my mom said, oh, we need to go to the hospital. And I was like, well, why?
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I was just playing. Like,
yeah.
what?
And my biggest thing was, it was towards the end of summer.
Yeah,
so
August.
I was super excited to start 4th grade. That was that was my thing. I was like, I'm gonna be a 4th grader. I'm gonna be like a big kid and stuff. So that was my thing to her. I was like, but I'm gonna come back before school starts, right? She said, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So we got there, and I was still kind of confused.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, like, why are we here? So we got there, got admitted, and family started showing up because my mom
probably called everybody as any mom would at that moment,
Yeah, she was just very, she was, I mean, I don't even know how she did it. I am so, like,
now
as a mom, I'm like, wow, mom, you're super strong. But yeah, one of my uncles came because my parents are Spanish speakers, so they didn't understand what a lot of the people
and especially nurses, like medical terms, they're so hard to understand. Like even for an English speaker, so I could only imagine more if you don't speak English.
So my uncle was there and he explained certain things, but I do remember them coming in and they said, okay, well, you have cancer. And I was just like, oh, okay. To me, in my head of a 9-year-old, I was like, okay, cool. As long as it's not contagious, can I go back to school?
Oh my gosh. So our innocent mind,
Yeah. And they were like, well, maybe not for now. So I was like, well, maybe in a week or so, 2 weeks. And they said, well, we'll see. But we're going to bring some people and they have to explain stuff and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So they brought a nurse or like some kind of special person that come. I'm assuming like a psychologist or something. And she came in and she brought like a little doll and the doll had no hair. She went from having hair. So she said, so this is you right now, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. So she said, we're going to give you some medicine. And after the medicine, this is going to start happening and you're going to look like this. So the doll had no hair. For me, I feel like as a cultural thing too, my hair was everything to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To all of us, like even a girl.
Yeah.
And you're probably like, but why? Like,
yeah. And so I think that my head wasn't wrapping. I wasn't really understanding still. And I was just still set. When am I going to go back to school? I want to go back to school. I want to keep living my life. But it was just after that night, things just went so fast. I went into surgery to get my port. Next couple of days, it was like another study and studies being done to find out what kind of cancer it is.
Yeah, so you guys didn't know here yet.
No.
You just knew that you had.
Yeah. And even to find out where it is, what's the next step. So when they told my mom, like, it's leukemia.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom was like, oh, like, okay, like, where do you go? Where do we go from here? So they said, okay, so they had said it's unfortunately a very aggressive one and we don't know where it's I think it was a time where cancer was a big thing and it was like on a rise, I want to say. And there was not a lot of answers. It was still a lot of research was being done. But yeah, we spent at least 1 month in the hospital. My first month, we went home. My mom had to be taught how to administer medication to me once we got home. And I want to say we were at least in and out of the hospital for a year.
I can believe that.
And I did my whole treatment in 2.5 years.
Did you get like sick, like really sick? Do you remember throwing up, like all that stuff that they like the way that yeah?
Yeah, I went from being this girl like full of life, and I was always like a chunkier girl. So I went from that to like super super skinny, like you could see my bones, and I never wanted to eat. I mean, I had to learn how to swallow pills, like huge pills.
Yeah, I can.
And so yeah, I was always sick. I was like throwing up, not wanting to get up, not wanting to eat. It was a harsh, I want to say, first year.
Oh yeah, and I can't even imagine as your parent, like my kid is your age right now, like having to go through that, and like how do you explain that to your child? And like the questions they ask, I don't know, like if you would ask your mom questions like why am I here, like why is this happening to me, all these things that I don't know what would go through your mind.
As an adult now, like even as I'm telling you now my story, I've, and other times where I've sat down with myself, I've come to realize that I've suppressed a huge part of it, of the whole like experience or season, if you want to call it, of my life. And I've had talks with my mom. My mom remembers everything with detail. She will say like, oh, do you remember this person and that person when we went here? And I'll say like, yeah, mom, like I remember, but I don't. And I think it's because it was such a dark time in my life that I was like, my brain was just shut off. I've come to realize I was in survival mode, basically, since that age, like 9 years old, survival mode turned on, and that just coasting the whole entire time.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't even know too, like how people ask me, how do you do it, or how did you do it? And I'm always saying, I just do it. I just do it. But I think it's part of my whole like survival mode kind of thing. So I don't even have like a forward answer to say like.
And you would see your mom or your dad in the hospital and they would be fine?
My mom wouldn't.
No.
My dad, I want to commend my dad. My dad was so strong. He never. The first time I want to say when they did tell him, when my mom told him, he did cry.
Well, yeah, and you're saying you were such a daddy's girl. So
yeah.
I could. Oh my God, they're probably trying to hold it together for you. But did you ever see them like?
I saw my dad cry for the very first time in my life, and then I saw my mom cry many times, many nights. And I think that's why I felt like I had to hold it together so many times, because in my head I thought, she's broken. She's broken down. I can't add more to that.
Isn't that crazy how we think like that? Like as kids, even in our childhood, like we see our parents going through stuff and we still try to protect them by like whatever I'm feeling, like I'm not going to be let it known to them. So because they're already like hurting, and this was really about you, and you're trying to protect them. Like that's our unconditional love for our parents, regardless of, you know, they, as a kid, like your mom, your dad, I feel like you love them regardless of anything. You know, and obviously it sounds like they're pretty amazing parents to you know, like to be there for you. Obviously any parent, but just the thing is, like, and I think that we as parents think that by us hiding, by us, you know, not crying in front of our kids, by us not showing emotions, like we're doing good. But in a way, I feel like us as kids seeing your parents like that too, like literally lets you see like they're human beings too.
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Exactly. You know, that as parents we do break down, like we do cry too, and our kids, obviously we don't want them to see us like that. But in these type of moments and in your situation, like I don't think there was a way around that. You know, especially your mom seeing you like suffer and stuff. Because you know that's what it was, going through all that. Like I could only imagine what she was feeling.
And she was always she always had a very positive outlook, which I think that is why I have such a positive outlook in life and in certain stuff that I face, because she would always say, esta es una carrera, and we're just at the start, but we started it together and we're going to end it together.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, you got my back, I got your back. So if she was breaking down, I'm not going to show her that I'm in pain. I was in pain, and I wanted to give up so many times. And there was, I think, in my 2.5 years, only one time did I tell them, I'm done, pulling the plug.
Oh my gosh.
I'm giving up. And they were like, what do you mean you're giving up? And then I was like, yeah, nothing, no more. I'm not taking any more meds. I'm not getting any more treatment. And I saw the heartbreak, and I was like, I take it back right away. I was like, never mind. If you need me to keep going, I am going to keep going.
Do you feel like that was in a moment of frustration, or what caused that particular moment?
Definitely a moment of frustration. Of, oh my gosh, I'm trying so hard. Yeah. And when is this gonna end? And and I told my dad, I'm tired of fighting. That was it. I'm tired. And he was like, please, like, no. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
I'm so tired. So that's what it was. Definitely a moment of frustration.
Yeah, and I think that's so valid.
Yeah.
Because you were a kid and trying to hold it together for them, like, that had to happen, I think, too.
Yeah.
It was everything that you were holding on, like, that had to come out.
Yeah.
And, and it was a release. It was a moment of release. Yeah. Like, I think, gosh, we expect, like, that's the thing. Sometimes we forget that kids have feelings, and we expect so much of our kids. Like, you need to be like, but, like, no, they're kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in that moment, I was thinking, can we make this about me now? Like, let's not make it about you guys and how I need to be strong for you guys. I want to make this about me and how I'm feeling. But, and I would always get from nurses and doctors, you're so mature for your age, and you're taking this, you're handling it so well. And I would always say, like, oh, thanks. But in my head,
you were like,
I don't even know how I'm holding it together. I really am not. I'm not even going to lie. I had a moment where I did just tell my mom to, you know what, I stopped talking to her. Like 3 therapists went to see me, and I stopped eating for a week. And my mom would say, like, I need you to eat if you want to get better. And I was at the hospital at that time. She said, I need you to eat. And I felt like I was so angry. I was like, stop making it about yourself and make it about me. There was so many phases that I felt like I went through because my little brain was trying to understand
what was happening.
Yeah, and kind of cope. I was trying to find a way to cope, and I couldn't find it. And I think back, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had her in front of me, and I would hug her, and I would tell her all these things, like, it's going to be okay, or you're going to be okay. You're going to turn out great.
You mean you're talking about your, like, you as an adult now, what you would tell your inner child, your little person, your little 9-year-old Amy?
Yeah. Aww. Yeah. I think back on it now so many times, like, and when I achieved little things, I think, like, oh, if I had her in front of me, like, I would say this to her and, like, show her and stuff like that. So I'm always thinking on that Amy. Trying to make her proud. I think I've done good.
I think you have.
I hope I have.
I think you have.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And I keep saying that because truly, oh my gosh, girl.
Yeah.
But see, you're here. Look at telling your story. And there's a lot of little Amy's in the hospital right now going through what you're going through. And I don't know why things happen, and that's another thing too. Like, we ask ourselves, like, but why does a child have to go through this? Like, why does a child, innocent kid have to go through these things? And unfortunately, we don't have the answers, Yeah. But God has you here for a reason.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of kids that unfortunately don't make it to tell their story, and He has you here for a reason. Why? I don't know. But I pray and I hopefully that, you know, and I'll ask that he reveals that to you. And maybe this is part of it. Maybe this is the beginning of it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. If you've never talked about it before and like you said, just suppressed all this time and like never, it's your moment to talk about how you feel, how you felt, how you feel, you know?
Yeah.
So, at what age did you get pregnant with your first baby?
I was 17.
17. Wow.
Yeah.
And how was that? How did your parents take that?
Um, and it's funny because my husband and I actually talked about this right before coming. It was, in one word, I want to describe it, like heartbreaking.
For them.
For them, definitely, but also for me.
Really?
As like, as a person, in my perspective, I have seen things in their perspective, because I know you talked about this in your last episode, but I have seen things in their perspective, but I have also lived it in how my perspective is. It was very heartbreaking and very chaotic. I think those are the two main words.
So after they told you like, okay, you're good to go, like you're cured, you can go home. Yeah, you know. Después de ahí, did your childhood completely change, like from getting out of the hospital to being like a normal kid like everybody else and actually having a continuous childhood like into your teen years before becoming a mom? Like, did you have, or were you always kind of like, are your parents like protective of you because you have gotten sick? Like, no, esto no, like overly protective? Or was it just like normal?
I think that that's another thing that I didn't like. I was labeled as the daughter that was sick. Because even when we would go places, and people would be like asking my mom, "Oh, ¿esta es tu hija la que estaba enferma?"
Oh my gosh.
And I would be saying in my head,
No,
you
soy
know,
su hija nomás.
yeah. Or I am a human, I'm here, I'm Amy. If you want to know my name, that's who I am. So yeah, it was just, I lost my train of thought, but
No, that you every time like
yeah.
after that, if they were protective over
They
you,
were
like
they were very protective. It was, you have to be very cautious about your health, and even after, I didn't really live a very common childhood after that, because it was I was 12 years old when I was, if you want to call it, cancer free. But after that, you have to keep going for another 5 years.
yeah, I'm sure, just to make sure it doesn't like come back or anything, right?
Yeah. So it went from every 2 weeks checkups to every month to every 6 months. So up until basically when I got pregnant, like right before, I was still going.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was never like, oh, I got a break from going and doing all that stuff. So my mom was always still in the whole, siempre te tienes que cuidar, or you no puedes hacer esto because of this.
Yeah.
So, but in my head, I always just wanted to be myself and be a kid. And I don't feel like I ever got the opportunity. But I mean, here I am now.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's big. That you can even recognize that now. Like, I don't think any child deserves that. Any child deserves to go through what you went through, and let alone like not have a childhood.
Yeah, I don't ever think I wish it upon anybody from like going to not having a happy childhood to not having a childhood at all, or having a childhood filled with needles and medical terms and pills and going back and forth to hospitals. And I don't wish that on any kid. I mean, my son is right around that age, and I think on it now, it's a fear in the back of my head, you know. But I'm just kind of like, I don't want to put that out there and think that this is what's gonna be. But I think that I had a good example from my mom of how strong she was, that I've talked about it with my mom and say like, you know, what if it happens to one of my kids? And she'll say, at least you'll know what to do. And so I'm like, okay, at least I'll know what to do, but I still feel like I should be allowed to feel whatever feelings I want to feel
are.
if God forbid it ever were to happen.
You are.
So yeah, I don't think anybody deserves to even go through that process.
Contimas un chamaco, una niña.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so back to your pregnancy. So you told your parents I'm pregnant, and
So I didn't even tell them. My husband told them.
really,
Yeah. I was about, I think like 3 months along. And I was trying to hide it. I was so afraid.
I know, girl. Trust me, I know. It's so scary.
It was like, how do I tell
So
them?
there's no way.
Yeah.
You're just like, for me, it was 15. So it was like,
Yeah.
it was 2 months after my quinceañera when I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know
What do we do?
how do we do? What do we do? What do I do? Like, so your husband now
Yeah.
told them.
Yeah, and crazy thing, and I mean, I know it wasn't the best time and shouldn't have done it that time. My sister had just had a baby. So my mom was coming home from the hospital.
Oh, literally just had a baby.
Yeah, she had just had a baby. My mom and my sister had just gone home, my other sister, and I was home alone, and he had come over, and we were just talking back and forth, and he was saying, your sister just had a baby. We need to focus on our baby. And I was just telling him, no, like, I
don't understand.
I can't do this. Like, let's keep dragging it on. Si se me nota hasta que se me note.
Like
and
Alaska or something. Yeah.
And he was just saying, no, it's my kid too. And I deserve to know if the baby's healthy, what are the next steps. He's been very involved since day one.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So I am very thankful for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she got home, and she already didn't really like him. So
that always is the case, honestly.
Yeah. So he was just saying, I'm here, vengo a dar la cara, and I need to tell you something. And she was just in shock. She was saying like, oh, well, what? Like, what happened? And he said, okay, Amy's pregnant, and I'm here. I'm here to take full responsibility. I'm not going anywhere. If she needs to leave with me right now, I'm willing to take her in. I just want to tell you. My mom went ballistic, dragged me into the house.
He's your same age? Your husband's your same age?
No, he was 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So he was just about 19. And she dragged me in. He was right outside the door. He didn't leave in any moment. He was even screaming, I'm here, letting me know. Like, I'm still here. Let me get to her if you don't want her in your life anymore. I'm still here. And my mom was just like going off. I mean, now I look back on it, and like, rightfully so.
Yeah,
exactly. She felt very like defeated as a mom and stuff. Definitely don't agree on the way she went about it, but she had a right to feel the way she felt.
Now us as moms can understand that.
Yeah.
Like, completely. Like, me too. I think back to the way like my mom reacted and everything that happened in my situation, and I'm like, okay, I also don't agree with the way that she did things, because God forbid one of my daughters, this happens, like, I'm not gonna kick her out. Like, she's still my kid, but I mean, they probably did the best that they really could in that situation with us being so young,
Yeah. And so I did get kicked out. I was only allowed to leave with a few things, and he waited for me outside, and he took me to his parents' house because we had nowhere else to go.
Did they already know?
No.
They hadn't.
So we broke the news to everyone
in one day.
Yeah. And he was like, here she is, and I want to tell you guys, she's pregnant. Can we stay here? And they were just on board. They were, my mother-in-law was a teen mom too. So she was very supportive.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not supportive, but understanding.
Yeah.
And my father-in-law was like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? More of asking him like, what's
¿Qué son
your
tus
planes?
planes?
Yeah,
Ajá.
¿qué vas a hacer?
Yeah.
And other things happened. I ended up going back to my parents' house for a month. I had a really rough time there with how my mom was treating me. And it got to a point where he had to sneak a phone so we could communicate. And
So she cut off, like she
cut
wanted to
off
cut him
all
from your life.
communication. Yeah.
My mom too.
Yeah, when I went back, she placed an ultimatum. She said, I understand that it's a sin to abort that child, but he's not going to be part of the life of the child. But my thing is, if he wants to be involved, why am I going to cut him out?
Yeah, exactly.
So she said, all of your electronics, you have to give them to me. She took everything away, and I still kept going to school. And he found a way to get me a phone, and we would, with Wi-Fi. It was like an old iPhone that didn't have service.
Back in, well, how old is your oldest?
9.
9 now.
9.
Okay, yeah. So it was years
2016.
ago. Yeah.
And we would text, and it was a lot of communication of, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, but it hurts that you left, and you're, I understand now that he felt like I was choosing them over him, but I didn't know what to do. It's kind of like what they say, like, estaba entre la espada y la pared.
And if we were little girls.
Yeah.
Like, now thinking back, of course, things would have been so different. The way that we think now would have not been it at all. Even me, like, the way I think would never be that way. Same with you. Like, obviously, even I'm sure him as your husband, like, can look back and be like, yeah, maybe we should have done this or this and this. But the good thing is, like, he always stuck by your side, and he made that known, So that's amazing that you had that support.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I only stuck around for a month after that. And he ended up placing an ultimatum on me after that. And he was like, okay, we're either going to stick it out and you're going to come with me and we're going to figure out life together and just know I'm never going to leave your side, or you're going to choose your parents and we're going to go our separate ways and find a way to co-parent. But I'm not going to leave my child. And I didn't know what to do.
Yep.
But I was so, like, blindly in love. And also, I didn't want my son to grow up, or my child, I didn't know what he was yet, but I didn't want that child to grow up in a broken home if I didn't grow up in a broken home, So I had to make that hard decision, and I pulled her aside that night and I said, you know what? I'm going to leave with him, and I understand the consequences, but I'm not going to raise my child without his dad if he wants to be in the picture.
Yeah.
And she mocked me a little bit, which is, again, not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think that it was her trying to hide the hurt.
The pain that she was feeling in that moment. Yeah, I mean, your daughter telling you this, you're like,
why?
Why? Yeah.
And, so she said, okay, whatever you are wearing is the only thing you're taking. And I said, okay. And she said, go tell your dad, because after you leave that door, you're not ever coming back, and you stop being my daughter after that.
Wow.
And I think that's what made it harder.
That's so crazy. Like, my mom told me the same stuff.
Really?
Literally, she told me, with lo que traes puesto, like, that's how you're leaving. And you choose them, like, that's them. We're done too.
We're done. You don't have a family anymore.
And the same thing. Like, I understand what you're saying. I literally understand, because you're put in this position. For me, for you, thank God, the outcome was wonderful, and you had his support and everything. For me, unfortunately, it was not like that, but I know that that's the way things were supposed to happen. So to be where I'm at today, so regardless of the process, like, I thank God things happen that way. But I know what you're seeing, and I know what you're feeling when you're saying that, like, what do I do? Like,
because you don't know anything
You
but
don't
your
know.
parents and your life
Exactly.
and the comfort of coming
Your home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I made a decision. I left. I still remember it was July of 2016. And yeah, I left and I told my dad I'm leaving because that's what she made me do. Tell your dad you're leaving and you're not coming back. So I did. I said, Dad, I'm sorry and I love you with all my heart because I was still, I'm a daddy's girl, you know? And he was, you could tell the pain in his eyes. So he was like, okay, que te vaya bien. So I left. I found a way to communicate with my husband and he picked me up. And after that, we just kind of figured it out. And I didn't talk to my family my whole entire pregnancy.
Really?
After that, I didn't have any communication until my son was born.
Did they come to see him? Or
No.
They didn't?
No.
But they knew you had him?
Yeah. The only reason they found out is because out of all my siblings, one of my sisters reached out and she told me, you know, I'm here and if you need me and my support, I'm going to give it to you. I already told Mom that I don't care, but I need to be there. You need to have somebody from your family because family at the end of the day is family. So she's the only reason they knew he was a boy. She's the only reason they knew he was born.
Wow.
Anything that was getting back to them was because of her. And her and one of my cousins, who I'm really close to, are the only people in my family, my side of the family, that went to the hospital to meet him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he's a Christmas baby.
Oh my gosh.
So
on the 25th? 24th?
The 23rd.
Oh, okay, so right before Christmas.
Right
yeah,
before
yeah,
Christmas.
He's a Christmas baby.
So my sister was saying, I remember she said, it's the holidays. How are we gonna not be together as a family? You know, and I said, I'm willing to, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of how she's gonna react. And I was freshly like just popped out a baby, you know, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything about the whole like postpartum care, nothing. And at that moment, I became a little girl that needed her mom.
Yep.
So I remember crazy thing was I ended up living in the same street as my parents, 2 houses down in a studio. And my sister went to get the baby and he needed his first bath. And I was like, I don't know how to give a baby a bath. Like, what do I do? And I always pictured my mom would do it because she would teach me.
Yeah, I know.
So she went and she got the baby. She took the baby to get his first bath. And
she took him to your mom's?
Yeah. She took him to my mom's, brought him back. And she said, my mom met the baby. She said, wow, like, I can't believe this is hers. And I think it kind of melted her heart a little bit, definitely. But she still had that, like, orgullo of, like, I'm not going to show.
Que sí me importa.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it was the first boy grandkid. So, you know, like in our culture, it's very like, oh, hombre,
yeah.
So, yeah, after that, it took until New Year's, I want to say, New Year's Eve, that my sister would go every day before that. Go talk to her.
She would tell you?
Yeah, she would tell me. Go talk to her, you know, she's open, but you have to ask for forgiveness. And I would say, like, you know, I don't know, like, I'm scared. I'm super scared. And I did. New Year's Eve, I went to her house. She was getting, like, the whole dinner ready and stuff. And I went and I told her, Ma, yeah. And she was just like, okay. And I was like, but Mom, like, I'm here. And she was like, what do you want me to do about it?
I know. I could see it because
you lived it, right? And I did. I cried in front of her and I said, Mom, I'm so sorry. She shed a few tears, but I think her pride of, like, I'm like once again, I'm not gonna show her.
Yeah.
And that was the second time I ever saw my dad cry, too. because
when he met your baby?
No,
or when you guys went to go talk?
When
When
I
you went
went.
to go talk? Oh my gosh.
We didn't even I didn't even get to say anything to my dad. We just looked at each other, both cried, hugged it out, and he was just kind of like, he said, "I'm glad you're back." That was it. And then I was like, okay, I know I'm okay, but it was definitely not okay.
No.
But I felt like it's a sense of belonging.
It is.
You
I
felt
know.
accepted again. I guess that's what it was. I felt accepted again, and that's what I wanted.
And the thing is with that is like you feel like you failed them. When
Yes.
you're in that position, like you really feel like you failed your parents and
Yeah.
like they did all this for me and then this is how I repay them.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I know like that's
not
not
the
how it
case.
is.
Yeah.
And I think because of the culture too and I don't know if they cared about too much what other people think or if they just not wanting to show you that it was hurting them. Because same with me, like they didn't ever, I knew it was hurting them because of the way they were reacting towards me, but we never had a sit down. We never had a sit down to tell me like, this is how I feel, like whatnot, you know. It was just kind of like, I think, yeah, for me, like my dad didn't talk to me my entire pregnancy. And I came back to my parents' house because thank God they took me back in. I didn't have anywhere else. And we would walk by each other and he wouldn't talk to me. And my dad is like, was everything to me too, you know. I feel like growing up, my sister was more attached to my dad and I was more attached to my mom. Growing up as like a kid, I feel like I was more always with my mom and my sister with my dad. But even then, like we were daddy's princesses, both of us. Like there was no question about that. Anybody, I mean, that's just what it was. And having him being in the same house and like walking around together, but he wouldn't even look at me, he wouldn't talk to me, like oh my God, I just felt like from then on I feel like I carried that to even a few years ago, like just feeling that I was never enough, feeling like I failed them, feeling like in my household I was the failure, like I was the first one to have a baby, like not even just a baby, but being a teen mom, like, and now I was like a burden outsider. Or like you just didn't belong anymore, you know? Yeah. And that is so hurtful. Like I don't care what my kids do. Like I never want them to experience that pain where they feel they don't belong in my house or in our family.
I agree.
You know, like I reflect on that and I think, and I talk to them, like, especially to my oldest, because, you know, she's at the age, she has a boyfriend, like, and I tell her, like, this is what I went through, Eileen. Like, it was not easy, you know, being a teen mom is not easy. No. And there were options that we could have taken to be like, no, like, I'm not gonna, or not even have said anything and just gone and had an abortion or whatever. And, you know, but I knew, like, that was for me in my mind, like, that was never an option. Like, that didn't even, like, I was like, I don't know how, but we're gonna figure it out. And we're gonna do this, and, like, I'm gonna have this baby. And I don't know how, I don't know, but I know at the time, and, like, I know that God knew I needed this kid. And, like, that's why she was just my big, you know, at that moment, she was the biggest blessing. And at the time, everything, looking back now, you know, but I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, you feel like you don't belong. Like, you're a failure almost, you know, but we're not. No. Absolutely not.
No. And like, it's just kind of like my oldest is 9. And my husband and I have conversations. He asks, how old were you when you had me and stuff? And I'm like, the innocence of a child, right? I tell him, I was 17, because I'm never going to hide.
Yeah, me.
I've always said I'm never going to hide where I was in life, how old I was. No. So we actually just had this conversation a couple weeks ago. He said, how old were you, Mommy? And I was 17. And he said, wow, you were 17? And I was like, yeah, I was 17. And he said, were you in college?
Wow, Mom, you were really old. Like, wow, you waited. Yes, baby, I did. I waited.
So then I said, no, Mom, he was in high school. And he said, oh, wow, that's so cool.
Because probably high school to him right now is like so far, you know?
And you're such a big kid or whatever. And he said, that's so cool. What did your friends say? And I just kind of stayed quiet because I reflect. I think it just puts me in a position where you get like those flashbacks. So I tell him like, oh, my friends were super excited, bud. Like they were loving on you because you were in my belly, and they were always saying,
Yeah.
you know. So he says, oh, he tells our youngest, did you know that mommy was 17 and she had me? And that was so cool because she was in high school and then she went to college. So I told my husband, la inocencia,
Yeah.
that he thinks it's so cool. But we have talked about, we don't say it's okay.
No, yeah,
if
I know
they
what you
do
mean,
it,
though. I know it.
but I'm never gonna ever say, you're shunned or
No.
you're disown them.
Heck
Absolutely
no.
not.
No.
Like I'm
'Cause we
always gonna
lived
be
it.
there.
Absolutely.
I even now tell them, whatever you do, regardless of how bad it hurts, mommy is always gonna be here, and I'm always gonna be here when you want to talk or tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Because in some sense, I never had that growing up.
Yeah.
So I want to be that for my kids, where if they want to just have a crying session,
We'll sit with you and I'll cry.
Yeah, well, let's cry together because mom has a few things she wants to cry about too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's true. It is so true. I agree with you on that. And we're the same way. Like with my girls too, we're so open. My 8-year-old, like she knows. She's like, my mom got pregnant in high school. She'll say that too. Like they know the same thing. Like I have never and will never keep it from them. Yeah, like this is what happened and this is how it is.
Yeah.
And if there's certain questions that they want to ask, or there's certain things they want to know, if I feel like they're mature enough or they're at the age where if you ask me, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like you know.
Same.
But I don't know if it was just like the culture of parents I think it is. They probably truly were doing the best that they could, or they knew with what they had, or what, I don't know how to express their feelings, I guess. I don't know what it was. But I just think to myself too, like I wouldn't never do that to my kid. You know, one thing is to make my kid go be in the streets with nothing. Like, no, I'm sorry. But I understand that at that moment they probably thought that that's what they were doing was the best thing, And
I mean, as a parent now, I understand them, and
absolutely.
I give them grace because
absolutely
now I do. But for many years, I didn't. I was super angry. I always felt like I had to prove a point to them of how far I was going to get in life because they had such little expectations of me. So, with every milestone that I hit, it was always to prove to them. It wasn't ever for me or for anybody else, but it was to prove to them and to just people out there that were like, oh, she's a teen mom and she doesn't.
They look down upon it. Yeah.
So I give them grace now, and although they always, even now, say that I always need to ask for forgiveness and should feel ashamed of what I did, I don't.
You shouldn't.
I don't feel ashamed. I'm not embarrassed.
You shouldn't.
And even though I know it's never going to come out of their mouths to say I'm sorry, I forgive them.
That's good.
I forgive them and I forgive them for me. I don't forgive them for any other reason, but for me, for my own mental health, because for many years it really, really messed me up.
It takes a big toll on you when you have to carry this weight and carry. I even did an episode on that, like just forgiveness, how carrying all this stuff like sometimes doesn't even let you move on in life. Like the years are passing, time is passing by, and you're stuck. And like I said, this goes for anybody. It's not because they deserve it, but because you deserve that freedom. And you should not feel ashamed, and you should not feel like that this is something that happened. Okay, maybe we should have waited. Like, it shouldn't have been that early in age, but it did happen. And now it's like I look at my baby, and it's something I would never be ashamed of, or even ashamed to say. And with you saying that, like, and you now looking back and like everything, no, I'm so glad that you don't feel like that, because you shouldn't. No, because I know, like, same thing with me, like I did. And then I realized, like, God has healed so much.
Yeah.
First of all, like God has helped me so much, and prayer and asking Him, But for a long time, like I said, even recently, like I still felt like that,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to be good, and I need to have peace in my heart.
Yeah.
That means letting go of all the
Yeah.
stuff that I have no control over.
Exactly.
Or like that apology that you may or may
Never
never ever get. Like you're not going to spend your whole life waiting for something that may never come, and years down the line or something happens and it's too late, and you live this bitter life because you were expecting something that, God only knows if you're ever going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And with me too, like with my parents, like I don't hold nothing against them. At the end of the day, like I said, I know that they were doing the best they could for me, and they did a lot for me, because in my case it's different. They had to pretty much raise my daughter with me. I was still going to high school, I was going to college and everything, and my mom was the one that pretty much raised her first few years of life. So it would be really selfish of me to like say like, oh, I still hold. No, absolutely not. And now that I'm a mom, like I see
Even
that
more so.
And it was more of like the pregnancy that for me, that was like the hardest part, was just because like once Eileen came, and there was still trials within that, but that she brought healing to them as well, which you were saying about your baby. I'm sure that's the same thing.
Oh yeah, like 100%. Because although we lived on our own for a few months, we ended up having to live move in. Yeah. So we lived with my parents for a few years up until even like after I had my second son. So they helped me, and to this day I even tell anybody, I don't know what I would do without my parents. My parents and my siblings. Like it's very true what they say. It takes a village to raise your kids. And I am so grateful for my village, because it's my siblings and my parents. If I need help with anything, they're there. And my mom, which is crazy, like my oldest, he is so attached to her.
Really?
They are like besties, I want to say. He loves spending the night at her house, and he's always with her, and she's always asking about him and what we can do to help whatever he needs. And he's in sports, and she's always like, "Cómo le va?" and stuff like that. So it's definitely, it takes time.
Yeah, of course. Time, absolutely.
Definitely. But it's in that moment where you're living it, where you're like, when is it gonna come? When is it gonna end? Like, I just want happiness.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I was like, I'm seeking that joy in life that I had when I was a kid, because that's the only reference I had back to. So it was like, that's what I want to feel again. I want to be happy, positive, and I don't feel like that. I was always, and I understand that it was my depression, definitely, but it was like, it was a hole that I felt like I was never going to get out of.
Yeah.
And now that I am out of it, I'm like, wow, girl. Like,
what do you think helped you with that, getting out of that place that you were, that your depression and that hole that you talk about? Like, what do you think helped you?
Therapy. Yeah. And it's crazy because the thing that triggered, I think, like the worst downfall for me, where I was like, I really need help at this point. If not, I don't think I'm gonna make it, was the passing of my grandma. Because she was like everybody's everything.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, like they call the matriarch?
Yeah.
She's the base, the foundation that holds the family together.
Everybody, yeah.
And her being gone, it made me feel so many feelings and go through so many thoughts that I didn't know I had. And then I had other issues in my life that I was dealing with, whether it was in my marriage, whether it was with my kids.
Yeah.
That I felt like everything was going wrong, and so many other things that it was like, I was always like, it's what I can't catch a break.
Yeah.
So therapy just kind of came out of nowhere, from one of my kids. I had to go to the doctor and with them, and then it was suggested, and I was like, this is my sign. that I need help. Because when it was ever suggested to me throughout the years, I would always say, I'm fine. It's okay. Because I would always tell myself, you don't need to look for help. Like you got yourself. Because I think I got to that point.
Most people think that.
Yeah. I think that because of what I went through with my pregnancy and all these other things that happened throughout those years, I came to this point in my life where it was like, nobody's got you but you.
Yeah.
So, and at that moment, I was like, oh no, like, as much as you want to say that nobody's got you but you need help, because you're not the mom that you want to be for your kids. And if you want to be the mom you want to, you need help. And that helped me so much, because I was able to heal so many parts of me that I didn't
even know that needed healing.
Yeah. I learned to forgive, because as much as I would say like, oh, you hurt me, I forgive you. I forgive, but I don't forget.
Down in our heart,
I didn't. So I learned to forgive and truly forgive. It was more of that. Truly forgive for myself. I learned to give myself grace in so many things, where I'm a very big person that I beat myself up for a lot of things. I'm a perfectionist. Everything needs to be perfect to a T. If it's not perfect, it's not good enough for myself. So when I learned that it's okay
to not
be perfect, then that's where like I feel like my eyes opened to a completely new world, and it helped me heal in so many ways. It healed my relationship with my kids. It healed my marriage in so many ways that, once again, I didn't know needed healing.
Help or needed healing or needed any assistance. For that matter. Yeah.
So I always tell a lot of people, definitely, if God is what helps you, I'm all for it. Definitely. But if that's not helping you, then definitely seek therapy, because for me, at least in my case, that helped me so much. So much, because I think that I'm not a very religious person, but I would say I'm a spiritual person, where I do feel like I have a relationship with God, but I feel like I needed a little extra.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's the most important thing anyways, it's not about being religious or being like, it's about a relationship with God. That's most important, because that's what he cares about, is your heart. Like, he wants you to have a relationship with him. It's not about a religion or a certain type of church or a certain order of doing things. Like, it's just, he just wants your heart. That's it, and obviously therapy helps. Like, this is therapeutic. Just talking. Oh my gosh, and just speaking about things that you feel like that you can't talk about, or that you're going to be judged, or that I can't say this because they're going to think this. But sometimes it's okay. Let people think whatever they want. Because if it's going to bring healing to you as in your person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. I've learned that. And I was a person who cared so much about what people thought.
Same.
Now I don't care. I really don't care what anybody thinks. I am here to, like, this whole thing, my podcast, and the reason I'm doing it really is so people can share their lives, so I can share stories of my life, and God, and my spiritual, and what I believe, my spiritual walk with God, and my relationship with God, and all this stuff. But just to be somebody that you can come and share your story, like, I know that's going to bring you some type of healing. And believe it or not, it makes my heart so happy, and I feel so honored, which I hope you would believe, that having you here, and having every person that has been here and that is to come, like, it's an honor, because I don't know if you've ever talked about this stuff before. Like, I don't know if you've publicly ever, I'm sure, like, within your family, everybody knows what happens in our families, but to go out and speak it to the world, and you don't know what they're going to think. You don't know what they're going to say, but it doesn't matter, because if it's going to bring healing to you, like, then we won. Yeah. Like, the purpose and the point was met. Yeah. Which is just simply that, I don't know. life's not easy, and
No.
it's not. It comes with
Yeah.
so many trials and so many turns,
Tribulations.
tribulations. Like you have different, like you mentioned earlier, different seasons that we go through in life. But ultimately, I think we all want peace and happiness and
Yeah.
joy in our home and in our heart. I feel like everybody in their heart, that's what we want.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not taught how to get there. We don't know, because if we knew, it would be like but with life lessons, people you meet,
Yeah. That's a big
people
one
that
too.
come into your life sometimes, that you meet them and then you're like, and that was supposed to happen like for a reason, you know. All of these things make the person that we are.
Yeah.
And you know, and with your experiences, having cancer so as a child, and then becoming a mom as a teenager, like those are already two major things to happen to a developing brain. Like for a person who's developing, who's not even fully developed, like and those are two traumatic events. They are, you know. What do you feel like out of that, like looking back now, or even now as an adult, like looking back, what do you feel like shaped you the most, or what are things that you took from those events in your life, or those seasons, or those things that you went through to see and make you the person that you are today? Like, what do you feel, what highlights of those two things do you feel like really shape you to be the person that you are now? The woman, mom, whatever, wife, you know, whatever.
That's a great question. I think that definitely from my first experience, my cancer, I would say to be grateful, gratitude. That I think that's
I love that.
the biggest thing, because it showed me not to take things for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to be grateful for even the littlest things of waking up in the morning.
Yeah, for sure.
Having like clothes or anything little, to even just be alive. I think that's the biggest thing, was that being grateful and positive, because those were the two big things that my mom would always say. We live one day at a time. That's what she would always say. This experience, she would always say, has taught us to live one day at a time. You're not promised tomorrow. Live your life one day at a time. So I think that that's what my first experience taught me. Yeah. This second one, I mean, I feel like I'm still living it, but definitely patience.
Yeah.
Patience, self-love in a lot of ways, and grace in the sense of you don't have to be perfect, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in this second experience, grace, because you're never taught how to be a parent.
No.
You're never taught. You don't grow up being taught how to be a wife.
No.
There's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
in both parenting and being a wife.
Yes.
But when you get it, when you get to that point where you say, this is where I want it to be, it fills your heart in so many ways that I feel like that I'm getting to that point.
That's so good.
So
that is so good.
I feel fulfilled. That's what I want to say, that you get to your point where you feel fulfilled.
I feel that too. I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
That's
really,
great.
really feel in my heart that I am where I need to be in life, and I feel like I finally get it. Obviously, there's so much to learn, but I finally understand that letting go and letting God makes all the difference. Not being in control is okay. It's okay not to be in control. It's okay not to have it figured out. It's okay to not have answers.
I think that's the big great. I think those are great.
Yeah.
Because
and I feel like thank God that I'm at that right now, and I'm so happy for you too, Amy, that you feel that, like that you're reaching there. Either you're there, you're almost there, you know. And some days may feel like
Oh,
never. I'm
yeah.
back. Like I just took 5 steps back, you know. But it's okay because you know what? Tomorrow or
We're gonna
even try again.
Always
Today
try
was
again.
not good. I go to bed, I pray, and I ask. Tomorrow's okay. Yesterday was last night, whatever. Yesterday, last night, last week wasn't the best, but
Yeah.
we get to start. Thank God, you know, and that just viviendo un día a la vez porque we don't know tomorrow's.
Yeah.
We don't know.
You're never promised.
So you're a perfect example of that, and I thank you so much for sharing your story. It was actually related a lot to it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of
I feel like a mirror.
Yeah,
Right?
I had a lot more comment in you than I even expected. Just
Yeah.
I felt understood too because
Yeah.
you know we went through a similar situation, and but I think it's a good. We're at a good place.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, yeah, definitely.
You know?
I think it's kind of like what I was telling you. I always wanted to share my story. I just didn't know the time, the place, or how.
Yeah.
And I just a couple days or a couple weeks before, I think I told you, I was thinking, oh, it would be so cool to share my story in some way.
Yeah.
So when this opportunity popped up, I was like, just wow. Like I think it's God or the universe just telling me, take up on that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not gonna let it go. I understand now that you don't let these good opportunities go by.
That is so sweet. It was God.
Yeah.
It is God making this happen, you know. Is there anything else you want to say to anybody, or any last words that you want to, words of encouragement or anything like that?
I mean, just definitely keep going. Never give up. For me, that's like my biggest motto, and I even tell my kids.
Never give up, you guys.
Never give
no
up.
matter what life throws at you.
No, giving up is not an option.
No.
That is.
There you go. It's.
I tell my kids, giving up. They say, "I give up."
Nope.
Sorry, nope.
We don't accept that here.
Giving up is
That's
not an
tolerated
option.
in this
Nope.
house. We figure it out.
Yep.
I don't know how, but we figure it out.
Literally just that. Figure it out, and you'll get through it. Whether you think you can't, you'll get through it. Figure it out. Échale ganas, quite literally.
Échale ganas. I love that. Well, you guys, thank you again for joining. Amy, thank you for being here. And I'm going to continue to pray for you and your family and for your healing journey.
Thank you so much.
All right. See you guys next time.